Sir, the hope here is that we have one more full governmental affairs meeting, hopefully next Wednesday, but we know things can change in this committee on quick notice. So we're going to be doing some sub work. I think Chairman Brockway is going to be starting at 8:30 in the morning if you're on that one, followed by Chairman Powell at sometime after that. So we've got some other things that we want to tee up just to make sure that we get it right. The purpose of the full committee today, minus one change, is a bill that has passed both the House and the Senate previously, and this is Senate Bill 263, and we've made one minor adjustment to that particular bill. We're not going to spend an awful lot of time on it. We typically don't take public testimony in full committee, as you know, with some discretion, but we're going to let somebody have a couple minutes and then someone else have a couple minutes as well, and then we'll proceed to vote on the bill. So with that, Representative Rutland, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. As Chairman mentioned, this is Senate Bill 263, LC 2888057, and it's basically the same bill as House Bill 639 that was previously passed from this committee. The only change that was made in this substitute is the entire section of the homestead exemption has been removed. There is no property taxes levied in Stockbridge or Eagles Landing. So that language was completely removed. And again, if there's any questions, and Mr. Pete Peterson is here that would like to, share some thoughts to the committee as well. Just introduce yourself and.
Okay. Is it ready? Good afternoon. I'm Pete Peterson. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. I've been living in Stockbridge for the last 17 years. I actually live in the footprint of the proposed city of Eagles Landing. And my thesis today, my bottom line up front is let the people vote. That's my key thing right there. And it's a 17,000 folk that are going to be voting. I know that right now, I believe Stockbridge is about 26 to 27,000. So it's going to be about 60% of the people that will get a chance to vote. So please let them vote. The other thing is make sure we trust the voter. There are people in Stockbridge. They're my neighbors. They're my friends. I work with them. I play with them. I worship with them. And I trust them. And I would hope that they get the right to vote just like I will get the right to vote. And if they vote it up, it's good. It goes. But if they vote it down, then it's gone away. But at least they get the right to vote. And then getting down to this, I keep hearing certain things, but I want to make sure we stay on this. The right to vote is constitutional. So as legislators, make sure that those 17,000 people in the city of Stockbridge get a chance to vote, because I know eventually you all will have to vote on it. So the vote is sacrosanct. We want to make sure that everybody that can vote gets a chance to vote on it. And finally, again, my big thing is my thesis statement: let the people vote, trust the voters, because when we let the people vote, we pretty much know what's going to go on, and nobody has to worry about, what's the intention of the voter. So that's my bottom line. And again, it's 17,000 people. Let them get the chance to vote. Okay? And subject to any questions, that's all I have.
Yeah, we're not going to allow questions of the guests. Thank you so much. In the interest of fairness, because he's one of my favorite people up here, and it affects his people, I'd like for the chair to be able to recognize Representative Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, we've heard this bill before that's in front of you today, and I just want to point out, I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to point out a few facts today. And I only have 3 minutes, so I'm just going to point out the facts. Since he put out the voting thing, I'll address that one first. If you're going to let 17,000 vote and you're going to split the city, why not let the people that's going to be affected by the people that's going to take 17,000 people out of the city, let all of the people vote, not just the 17,000 that's being de-annexed out of the city. Everybody, because the other half that's left is going to be affected by the vote of them leaving or staying. Either way, everybody's affected. So they should have the right, as the people do, on the de-annexation. My next point, my next fact is, Stockbridge is the oldest city in Henry County. It's a 100-year anniversary. And these guys trying to break up 100 years of blood, sweat, and tears because they want what they want and didn't make it bilateral for everybody to be inclusive in the process. My next fact, it is also the birthplace of Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. Historically, he was born and raised in Stockbridge. So we're breaking up legacy. How would you feel if a son of an icon, his hometown, would be broken up? Thirdly, I have been part of this delegation for 6 years. And this is the first time in my 6 years that my colleagues would not come to me and share this legislation before it was put forth. I am appalled today to even be a part of this delegation. And it may be funny to you, but guess what? It's gonna come around your way soon. And I'm seeing if you're gonna be laughing then. My last point, the Eagles Landing Education Research Committee organization in this legislation said it wasn't about race. But we heard in the last illustration that the demographics have changed from their own person on their committee. The reason that they want this is because the demographics have changed. It was said from them, not us on this side. My last point, and these are facts, people. I'm just stating the facts here, and let the facts fall where they may. My last point. Lastly, my last point is the physical impact. This is legislation that will have Stockbridge in a very bad financial state. All right, it's going to lose $3-point-something million. We're going to round it up because it's over 3.5. They'll lose $4 million, and I don't know what business, what municipality can run on half of the budget that they once had a year ago. I don't know if y'all business owners sitting on the committee, but I'm a small business owner. If I lose half of my income that I had coming in from a year ago, it'll put me out of business. Put me out of business. You think about this today. And also, there's $20 million worth of bonds attached to this city. Now, they're entitled to leave if they want to leave, but at least take some of the debt with you. You know what I mean? Just don't leave and just say, we're going to leave you high and dry, and we're not going to take any debt. So if that city helped create that debt, shouldn't the other people have the right to vote on whether they want to stay or go? All of the people, not just the people being de-annexed out. This is my last point. This is hard for me, guys. I don't say too much, and I stay to myself and try to do what's right. But today, these guys have divided our county. And it's a shame. I made a speech about a year ago about our technical school because the overtone in the county was that things were changing. And I said then that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And today I stand here and I ask the committee, I fall on the sword on mercy. If it was in your city, would you vote yes? Thank you, and Mr. Chairman, thank you, committee members.
Thank you, Representative Douglas. All right, any questions for the author of the bill exclusively and pertaining to the new substitute and not to, frankly, rehash old ground? Representative Oliver.
Does your fiscal study take into consideration pension legacy issues?
I'm not sure if that's in the feasible study or not.
How many services are you taking away from Stockbridge in your proposal for the new proposed new city?
There are no services being taken away.
The pension legacy issue is out there for that is unresolved for all of these new cities, and it's an undefined financial obligation that is problematical, and I'm concerned that y'all have not considered that.
I think the assets that currently are in their reports, they're financially very stable.
One more question, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
How many bills are going forward? I mean, I can't figure out how many different Eagles Landing bills are there, and which ones require 2/3 majority and which one requires 50% on the floor of the House.
There were mirrored image bills moving through the Senate and the House.
And the 2/3 constitutional amendment bill is a separate bill,
That's not a requirement on this bill.
but it is moving forward in a separate bill. Can you give me a status where that is?
Which bill are you referring to? The House bill?
The homestead exemption bill that requires a constitutional 2/3.
It's not in this bill, in this version.
But I believe it is moving forward in another bill. Am I right or wrong?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Representative, Mr. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just so I'm clear, the bill that passed the Senate contained homestead exemption language. Is that right?
That's correct.
And this substitute takes that out.
Correct.
Can you share with me what's the reason? Why is why are we
Because
taking it out
there's
as
no need to
substitute?
have homestead exemption language in a bill that, there's no homestead exemption, there's no property tax levied in Stockbridge, nor will there be in Eagles Landing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Leader. At this point, the chair calls on Chairman Taylor.
Like to make a motion?
Make your motion.
Move do pass.
Got a motion to pass. Do I hear a second? Got a second? By substitute. Thank you so much.
Do
Thank
pass
you
by
so much.
substitute.
Got a motion and a second by substitute. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign.
No.
Really? All right. At some point, I'm going to ask you out of courtesy not to do that to me. All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those opposed, like sign. Now 6, ayes clearly have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
That is all we have. We have a sub coming up. That's all we have. We're adjourned for the full committee. A sub at 1:30, and please, again, look for notices starting at 8:30 in the morning.